All right, we are live, Mitch, for the first fucking time.
True. I don't usually do live and anything. Because
I haven't done live well, I take it back. I was just on Mary's show not that long ago, so
I think I've watched two lives of yours.
two lives.
Mm-hmm.
One's fucking plenty, but yeah.
Seven more than your cat or something. Is that how that works? Collect them.
But yeah, we were bullshitting about taxes and everything, right?
Bitching about taxes.
Yeah,
And I brought up
bitching
the
with
fact that
Mitch.
I owed a whole bunch and that several of my friends whom also have never had to worry about paying anything because we claim like zero, or even when you claim one, for the most part, it was always you'd get at least something
Yeah,
back, even if it was like a quote unquote relatively small amount compared to some things. Even if it was only like $400, you'd still be getting something back. But
right.
we were sitting around like 2,000 normally, so we were all expecting that kind of thing. Now, not everyone I know had that problem. The funny thing is, it was only like the ones that were ranked like single were the ones that I noticed had like the issues crop up.
Well, I
The
I
ones with
also
families didn't.
I noticed something that was weird, but it so when you're it seems like when I was doing DoorDash and stuff, I it seems like you can get more back on taxes if you're doing something and you're doing it yourself, even if you have just a side gig that you're claiming things on or doing whatever. So if you aren't doing something like that, then it seems to I don't know, you seem to take a bigger hit, but
Yeah, I don't. I again, I'm not gonna pretend like I fully understand like the whole
I
tax
don't
code
understand
shit.
it at all, so that's
Which,
my
as
bad muddled
yeah, and as
thinking.
I bitch about this, you'll get fucking castrated because of the like, well, you just don't understand the tax code, so what the fuck are you even complaining about it? And my pushback
I
is
don't
constantly, I was
though.
like, no one knows the fucking tax code. The
Right.
people that wrote it don't fully understand it. It's designed specifically to be opaque and complicated and shitty so that there's a bunch of loopholes. It's designed specifically so that if you pay somebody enough that understands legalese, like an accountant or a lawyer, they're going to be able to fucking weave through that shit like a fucking rally race, or
Designed for
going through,
the rich and
yeah,
to
like everything else.
yeah, to fuck with the poor. Yeah.
Precisely. Yes.
I
But
mean, what other reason? Okay, audits would not exist if that was, if that wasn't the case, right? Because
yeah.
you've
Yes.
got they're telling you then, we know that you didn't pay taxes here and there, this and
Yeah.
that, and like, okay, how?
Yeah. Oh,
You're
well, because
keeping track.
we have all the
You're already
information.
keeping track of my taxes then. So okay,
Like, then
why
why are
am
you
I
making
fucking
me do
doing
the
it?
math?
And why are you telling me? Why are you trying to? What is this? What
And
is
and
this
for,
then?
and from what I read, that one of the major reasons is giant banks have their little subsidiary things that they work with, like H&R Block. Many people that might even listen to this use HR Block, TurboTax, which is a part of
Into it.
Intuit. Yeah, these are all things owned by the banks where they make money off of you paying them to do taxes that they already have the information for. So, they like if there was ever a push to just automate taxes where you just one day you wake up, you go to the mailbox, oh, hey, here's your tax return, or here's how much you owe.
Yeah.
They could do it all for you for the most part, but they don't because many millions of us aren't are all paying to have the taxes done for us instead of going to like a fucking personal accountant or something. And if you have a super personal accountant, you're
Right.
probably way better off than
But I
anybody
mean,
anyhow.
and I mean, we aren't talking about doing long form, of course,
No, no. You walk in
at
there. Here's the W-2 for
yeah,
my job. Here's the fucking, if you have like little piddly shit fucking stocks or something like that, you get that
well,
piece of paper that
like
you
this
have
is
in
the
there.
thing. We shouldn't have to even go in for like short form shit like that. It should just be as simple as them sending you a fucking thing in the mail, being like,
Yeah,
"Hey, does this look right to you? Yes, no, okay. Here's
done.
your check,
Like they
done,
do in
or
like they
here's
do
what
in
you
Europe.
owe." Like that's it.
Yeah, it's really funny trying to explain the fact that the one of the country with one of the lowest math capabilities is the one that has to do the biggest math problems to not get audited They're just like, wait,
well,
don't you just get your money? You're like, no,
Yeah,
man, I have
and
to do a giant math problem.
dude, it just so happens to be that the rich bullies are the ones that are like promoting it too.
Yeah.
You know,
So that you are so afraid to fuck up that you pay them to
yes,
tell the government how much money to give you, even though they already know. I remember when I would fill out fucking resumes for shit, and they would do a background check on you, and I would fill out my resume, and they're like, make sure you put all of your work history, and I would try to remember as much as I could, and I would put it down. It was like, what was your start date and end date? I'm like, I don't remember the fuck I started my crap ass, busing job. Because at the time, that was my resume, right? I was a busser. I worked in concrete and construction. I'm like, oh wait, I can't bring that up. That might have been under the table. Wait, no, it wasn't. This was on there. And then I would turn it in, and then like 3 days later, it'd be like, hey, here's all the places you lied. I'm like, if you already knew, why did you have to ask? Just to have the information. There it is. You knew where I worked. You knew how much I was paid. You knew how much taxes I paid. It's all designed just to screw anyone that's not in the top echelons of that finance bracket.
When I was on unemployment, that's what it was a big thing. So many hoops you have to jump through and everything to begin with, and then you get through all of that, and it's like, ugh.
Don't mess up or we'll come for you. And
Yeah,
you're like, thanks, man. Cool.
Right?
Or it's a toss up. You can just lie your ass off and maybe you fall through the cracks.
Yeah. Well, I had to have my appendix taken out, and I was laid off at the time, and they ask you every time if you were physically capable to work. If you say no, they expect you to have went on like some kind of assistance for that with like that's disability then. But then what are you going to do? How are you going to get disability for a week or two or whatever for an appendix?
You're not. You're just not.
So
or you spend a bunch of money trying to get some paperwork through the system.
I fucked up and I tell them the truth, and they fuck with my unemployment then and took 2 weeks' pay back because I wasn't able to work.
Yes, it's phenomenal. My favorite's the waiting week. Like they want to make sure you really aren't working. Like, all right, well, when you sign, and it's only when you sign up because it goes for a year.
It's
you
like
open a file
beg for it. Like
they do. Grovel, peasant.
Oh, I got the link here if you want to advertise, since I haven't fucking done any of that. And I'm just doing this.
What are we gonna advertise? People are gonna pop in here and tell us shut the fuck up. I know one of my super fun Republican friends will be more than happy to come into the chat room and post up a bunch of Fox News article links. Be like, wrong.
Come argue with us.
Biden's laptop. Yeah, right. Please come in here and tell me why I should be happy that I have to pay to do taxes for things that they know about already. Yeah, so you can itemize stuff. Itemize what? What am I itemizing, dude? That's what we're getting at. If you want to do that stuff, that should be a separate thing you can do if you need to, have to. Like you said, here's this letter. Does this look great? No, I want to itemize stuff. Okay, well, you're going to give, then here's the next thing then you can go do the special hard shit where you're going to obviously try to lie and make things up or, say that you bought the $7.3 million art piece and you donated it. So now you had $7.3 million tax deduction because you donated $7.3 million of, modern art, which is like, someone drew a smiley face on a toilet seat and said it's a fucking reflection on the world's happiness right now, or whatever the shit. Oh, God, having a bitch with Mitch.
Yes, we are.
I know what I can do.
Yeah.
I can... Quick, vamp! I'm copying and pasting stuff.
I feel like we should have music playing in the background right now.
How do you do that?
That's a good question.
Oh my God. If you go to my Facebook, I pasted the just on my Facebook, just right on my wall. And it takes a freeze frame of whatever screen is on at that moment.
Here it is. There's background music on loop. We've
Oh
got
no.
acoustic cinematic, dance
That
pop,
don't
daydreaming,
don't.
feeding the
This all
ducks.
sounds all feeding the duck is just gonna have duck noises.
I guess that's feeding ducks.
Dream techno trance.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Or is it just
Yeah,
playing
it
on my end?
loops
Okay.
through. I don't know about all that, man. That seems
Daydreaming.
what kind of royalty-free
What kind of
randomness?
daydreams are these people having?
This is way happier than any daydreams I normally have.
Right?
Seems real upbeat. Entirely too much.
There's not even any screaming in it.
Too much major scale in there. This I think I played this indie game once. This is a segment of the show now. Listen to the royalty-free background music from StreamYard.
Tell us which one you want.
Yeah, which one? Vote on the best. Lord of mercy.
Generic rock.
I've heard this at some bars I've gone to when they had a live band.
Back in the 80s.
If I was in the bar in the 80s, something was very wrong. Someone brought a fucking infant in there.
That was allowed in the 80s.
True story. True story.
We could.
Here,
invite
just
people
blow the
on.
smoke away from my kid. That was always an interesting thing when I think back on it, how there was like smoking and non-smoking sections in restaurants. That feels like a lifetime ago,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. It was like, when the hell did they get rid of that? Early, it had to been after like 07, 08, 10, 12. When the shit did they get rid of that?
Dude, it was the 2000s. Was it the 2000s?
It had to have, because I was going to Perkins and smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee until all hours of the morning, doing basically what we're doing, but with my friends around the table drinking coffee.
See, I still know of... I know that there's still bars out there that are privately owned that will allow it in
It's one of those
certain
things. Yeah, if it's a hole in the wall, they're like,
Yeah.
just as long as no one fucking calls the, you
Right.
know, whatever the...
Which I don't
whatever
know. If a
group
bunch of
comes in there.
people, if they all fucking smoke anyways, and they're like...
12.
And it's all legal to smoke that, like, it's so
Yeah,
dumb.
no, yeah, no.
It's,
If
all
everyone,
of it's dumb to begin with.
I remember, because I didn't work at, but I kind of worked at tangentially, like a hookah bar, and I was working there around the time that those laws started to come into place. It was 2012. So I wasn't actually working, but I always was going there, and I was always in the conversation. And they used to sell food at the hookah bar, but they had to stop selling it, because I remember, for it to be legal for you to smoke in the building, two things had to happen. One, it couldn't be immediately adjoining another building. So if it was like a plaza, wasn't happening. Couldn't have, because if there was... So I remember that what they had to do is they had to buy the second part of this plaza so that the next door wasn't something else. It was just them. It was dumb. Anyways,
Oh my
and then
God.
the other rule was a certain percentage of your income had to come from tobacco product. So if you sold food, you had to make goddamn sure that you sold more nicotine product than food product, because then it would be, yeah.
That's crazy. I know they have weird rules on drinking and shit too. I remember there was an arcade bar that I went to in Ohio that they had to have like some special security system put in for the door that went out to the... They had a patio. So they had to block the patio in. Like, they had to have a fence around the patio to have an outdoor area for people to still be able to drink in or whatever. So then they had to put some kind of security thing on the door, like the patio needed a door to like an escape route, I guess. I don't understand all of the regulations overlapping each other in this area, but it seems like a lot of them were overlapping all at once for this to happen. And they have a special like little security door out there, like just a fucking on a fence that open when you open it, an alarm goes off. Like the fire alarm fucking goes off in the building.
You can't be going in there.
So
Yeah,
they
everyone has
warn
to run
everybody,
away.
and there's a sign on the door and everything. It must happen so often that people get drunk and then they need to just leave, or whatever, and they've had enough and they
I
fucking go.
can guarantee you, my
it says-
dumbass would get too drunk and walk
It
through that
says right on the
door.
door, like, please do not exit through this door. Whatever.
Yeah, just whatever you do,
The alarm
and then
goes
just
off.
yeah, because you know that the guy who drank from noon till 1 in the morning is totally gonna be like, "Oh, can't use that exit. It says right there, don't use." They're just gonna fucking elbow through that thing. Yeah, no, that's all I remember. I don't know how they've changed the laws from that point forward. I know, like, I mean, obviously, if a restaurant, everything's food, so you can't have smoking in that restaurant. But I remember there's still a bunch of places that allowed it either because they actually found a way to make it so that their income was, the ratio it needed to be. And then, like you said, the other ones where it's just like a hole in the wall bar wars. No one's calling the fucking the health inspectors on you because everyone knows everybody and everyone in there smokes, or the ones that don't care. Like I think that law was always dumb. Like you can make your bar smoking or non-smoking. I feel like that should have been the case. You can leave the whole if it's attached to another building law in there, but like a bar's all their money is of course going to be coming from alcohol and then like bar foods. But like to tell a bar that hey you can get smashed in here and destroy your liver, but don't you dare fuck your lungs up in here. You hear me?
Yeah.
That was always a really weird one for me. Like I agreed with the whole don't smoke in restaurants. Like smoking section is the classic joke is having a peeing section in the pool.
Well, and all they've done is now the smoking section's the fucking gambling section, like in
Yeah.
some of the states, like
Yeah, I know what I want.
because they've got little caveats for that. Then
I remember Hollywood Gaming in like Austin town area, and the whole casino was non-smoking except for this one little area in the back, and they just shoved a bunch of those like trash like button push like slot machine kind of things back there, and it was wild because you'd walk in there and it was about the size of like maybe a medium-sized like master bedroom or something like that with a whole bunch of casinos, but you just walked into a wall of smoke. It didn't matter how many vent fans they had in there. You just walked into it. You're like, brr. I didn't even have to smoke a cigarette because I used to smoke. I didn't even have to have a cigarette. I would just walk back there, wander around for a couple seconds and leave and got all the nicotine I needed. It was weird.
Yeah. I mean, there's still places that smell like, Hills was one that smelled like fucking Gabe's. Gabe's smelled like cigarette smoke.
I remember those places.
And I remember
Well, I never understood why. Could you smoke in there? Because like they had the restaurant there, like the
Dude,
food
you could
court.
smoke everywhere at that time. Like before.
I always, see,
like,
that's what I'm saying. I always forget. I'm like,
Yeah. Well,
yeah, you're right. You can walk around the mall and smoke.
Yeah, I remember being able to. Okay, so I don't remember them actually smoking in stores and stuff whenever I was a kid. I think they must have put laws on it at that point for that.
Yeah, I don't remember like Giant Eagle or anywhere like that.
No, but I know that like Gabe's still smelled like cigarette smoke from years and years and years of people smoking in that.
I always thought it just smelled like. I thought
it was either that or the lobby
A
itself.
lot of them.
Like was.
Yeah, everyone would stand right there.
Cigarette, like as a place to
food court, because I remember the Hills had like the popcorn, pizza, hot dog spot. Maybe there.
That's what Gabe's kind of had the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
which I'm disappointed they don't do that shit anymore at stores and stuff. But the only things around here now are like Walmart.
Yeah, and then they just have a Subway in there.
Target. Yeah.
Yeah. Target has Target threw they just threw a Starbucks. Then they'll have something on. Something else. They just have, other, companies in there doing it for them. It's like, why would I have my own if I can just, take a piece of having fucking Subway, Starbucks, and whatever else in there? Shit, the Walmart the giant ass Supercenter Walmart by me has a hair salon in there. if you can call it a hair salon. It's a place where you can get a
Oh,
haircut.
they have everything in those.
I think there's a mini bank. Yeah, it's
Yep.
nuts. It's called like the Tree or something, like Tree Branch Bank or some wild
They are
forest
trying
branch.
to keep people. They are trying to come. They're trying to keep poor people in Walmart as long as they can,
Yeah,
like for eternity if they can.
right.
Like
Just the hive.
there's going to be like cryogenic fucking technology put in these stores before long. They'll be like, "Yeah, come freeze your brain at Walmart, rolling
They're
back
going.
prices."
They're
Ding
going to
ding
put.
ding ding ding
They're
ding.
going to put a second floor with like studio apartments.
Yeah.
You can live in Walmart hotels, Wally World apartments, and you just walk
Studio apartment.
upstairs. Yeah, this is gonna be like 80 of them. You just
Oh
literally
my
live
god.
above the Walmart, go down, get what you need. I wouldn't be shocked, man. Like these companies, they make so much money and they have monopolies on so much, like just purchasing not purchasing power. What's like they hold the commodities, right? So like, why wouldn't they just keep putting their hands in different markets?
I mean,
Why not?
I'm figuring when they put the studio apartment up there, they'll just put bunk beds in for their employees at
Yeah,
that point, you know?
it'll be
Why would
like in
they
the
waste
movie
all that
Waiting,
space?
just sleeping behind the toilet paper rolls in the stacks.
Dude, I'd watched like a documentary on Walmart a while ago that was about shit like that, like the workers like making their products and stuff and how they're but most of the stuff in Walmarts are like things that are in other stores too, so that makes me question like the ethics of all of it and the US's ethics in yeah, getting
That's an
that
oxymoron.
yeah, getting shit that's made through slave labor from another country basically to
There
as a
is no,
loophole.
yeah, there is no conscientious purchasing in capitalism, right? Or wait, what's the actual term? I was getting confused. It's close enough. It makes sense. There's no ethical purchasing or some through that because like somewhere along the line, some fucked up's happening.
Yeah.
Someone shot a dog to like get the
Well, and
product out
this
there.
see, this is my problem with vegans too. Is like I can't. There's no way to be like 100% vegan, is there? I can't. I've never been
Their
able to come
argument
to
is that
that.
they're like, well, I'm getting as close as I can. Okay,
Yeah,
like
it is, but
that's the argument I can see.
that's fine. But at a certain point, it does get like ridiculous. Like, what are you?
Sanctimonious, yes.
Okay, the soil that you grew those plants in, there's worms and stuff in there,
Yeah,
and they're
they
doing
die.
work and labor to make it to where you can. So now you can't eat anything that worms have touched. You aren't able
You,
to eat now. So
you've exploited the work of the
what
fungus and the
what are you going?
bacteria in the grass.
Go eat dirt. I don't know like. What are you doing at that point?
Yeah. No, the point is like to do like because I've had these conversations and I'll
It's
hear
to
them
do,
out. I
and
used to
I agree with
immediately.
it. Like I do agree with a lot of it too. That's the thing.
It's
I'll
just the level the level of arrogance that kind of comes out of it.
I
Like you
guess
remember what was it?
the rules that go along with it that some of them have, it's just so fucking weird. Like I don't,
It touched an egg.
yeah,
Yeah. I think one of the funnier stories I heard was about somebody that was trying to go vegan. They're like, well, at least I can just eat my candy, and they were eating like gummy bears. And someone was like, should we tell them? Should I tell them what that's made out of? Hey,
does
do you know
that?
what
Oh
gelatin's
yeah,
made out
gelatin.
of?
Yeah,
What?
horse hooves and bones.
Nah, bone. Yeah, ground up bone meal, basically. Like you can't get away from it. I get it though. You're trying to get as close as you can, and that's fine. I'll never stop people from trying to be vegan. In fact, I don't even
Yeah,
really. I'll give them shit, but I don't even make fun of them like I used to. Like I grew out of at least that
the
small
thing.
portion of my like
I mean,
douchey frat
here's the
boyness.
thing though. I could see
A
myself
little bit,
becoming.
not all of it
I
though.
could see myself becoming vegan if the thing takes off with like the
Oh, the
like
lab grown meat.
yeah.
Yeah, not even the. Because a lot of people, when I say like lab grown, they're like, are you talking about Beyond Meat? And I'm like, no, because it's not made out of plants. It's made out of meat. And they're like, I don't
Yeah.
follow. I'm like, you might not really want to follow, but I'll explain anyways. It's like, so they take a wad of meat and then they clone the meat. Like,
Yeah,
wait, so like
well,
clone the cow? No. The proteins in the
they do.
muscle,
They take blood from it. Like it's yeah,
you're
and
cloning everything but like the thinking part of the animal.
yeah,
And they're like, it's like, yeah, it's kind of messed up, but
it's really cool.
yeah, it's inevitable too, because
Yeah,
like a lot of times people be like, oh, well, why would they want to do that? Everyone loves meat so much. I was like, yeah, but do you know what corporations love more than cows?
I am really,
Cows you don't have to feed.
I am really surprised that like, okay, so are conservatives just going to double down now? Like after this really starts to take off, they're going to be like, well,
Only eat
I only
real
get
meat.
I only get my meat from that guy over there, and he clones the muscles and everything just to put back on the cows after we shave
Yeah,
them off alive. Like we want
yeah,
to torture our cows
keep it
for
alive.
our food.
I
Like,
need something to die to eat.
yes.
I don't think you understand. No, I think
Fact
it
that blood
will.
sacrifice thing that
It just
Christians really have beat into them from a young age.
yeah, right. Well, I think one of the things is it's gonna come down to like how the optics are about like being anti something. So it'll be hard because they'll probably if I had to guess, it'll be the same getting into bed with like anti-vax, right? Because they're gonna come in, they're gonna be like, oh, this isn't natural, it's gonna harm you, it's got, it's gonna give you autism if you eat this, cloned pork, beef, whatever the fuck. Like that's what I would see the main argument going towards if I was to like try to divine the future, which I absolutely fucking cannot. But like it feels like that's the kind of angle. It wouldn't I don't want to be that degrading against it when it's like, oh yeah, they're just gonna be stupid and want you to shoot it so I can eat it. It's like, nah, it's
Yeah.
gonna come to like a different angle or like ungodly, like this is unnatural. And again, kind of like the same way that certain branches of the conservative movements have gotten in bed with anti-vax, which because anti-vax used to be very like West Coast elite liberal moms were anti-vax. It's like, oh, I can't give my kid the polio vaccine. It might mess with their chakras and change their fucking whatever this shit. It was very
Well,
much that.
well, no, that was all because of that. Who was that doctor like over in Europe that started that shit too? And
Yeah,
then
it was a lie. He was
the
a hack.
that celebrity fucking jumped on board here.
Goop.
What's her name? Is that what? Oh my
Oh
god.
man, she made a candle that smells like her hoo ha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name?
Uh,
I can't.
Mrs. Potts.
I don't know. It's
No, I'm saying that she played her in fucking Iron Man by Gwyneth Paltrow. That
it's
was it. I knew it was
that's
coming to me
one
after
of
a second. Yeah, like
it's
I don't
one of
think she was
those
the. I don't think she was
actresses
the
that
main.
they had like 10 more of them at the same time that looked
She,
the same exact way. So I
yeah,
don't know. I
imagine
always
that.
confuse her for all of the other ones.
Holy shit! No way. Attractive Hollywood women all look a certain way. No, no shit. No, I don't think she was the
Men
first
too. Yeah.
adopter. She was the one that definitely found the best way to profit off that, like, not naturopathy or whatever the fuck, the portmanteau of all the other homeopathy and natural whatever the shit, like smash
Well,
all
no,
together. Here's
no,
a
there
crystal
was
that'll
no in
cure
Europe.
your
There was a thing.
blood pressure.
This is all based off of conspiracy theory and shit that was happened over in Europe. There was a doctor that
Yeah,
started
hold on. What the hell is his
that
name?
did this shit too, and this is what the Goop thing is based off of. Is that shit?
Well,
The,
it's one of the
connecting,
many
it's trying to, yeah,
branches.
it's trying to connect autism with vaccines and stuff. And what they were actually doing was
Wakefield, Andrew Wakefield.
yeah, it was a big scam. Um, they were trying to get money for these, like, I don't know what the fucking plan was in the end. They were going to start making vaccines for this cure for this fake thing that they I don't know. It was something to like I remember it being some big scam, and they were trying to sell some kind of fake cure, I think, in the end of it for whatever they were claiming was happening with the
Good lord. I don't remember the whole story behind it. All I remember is that he falsified a whole bunch of data in a research paper. And then when he got
yeah.
called out for it, it was so egregious that they basically
Strip him of
whatever
his
whatever
license.
the
Her?
disbarred
I
for
thought it was a woman.
scientists are, whatever disbarred is for the law, it's disbarred for scientists. They're like, yeah, you can't practice anymore. You, and not only like they, I don't even think they knew just how much damage he did trying to like do that scam with that
Yeah.
lie. Like, there's no way we could have quantified at that point just how awful it was going to be down the road. Like how easily it got picked up so fast.
Yeah.
The MMR vaccine caused autism, and they're like, that doesn't work. And they're like,
It,
it's too
it's
late.
yeah, it's fucking insane what people will believe when they're yeah.
The issue is because there's an injection in the age. There's going to be an inherent discomfort with like poking a very, very, very small child that doesn't go away. And then if you find something, anything, especially if you can say that it's based on some scientific study, false or not, they will glom onto that as a way to, you know, very much stick with that discomfort and then not have to think about it anymore or deal with it. It's like, oh, I don't want this to happen to my kid because it makes me uncomfortable. And here's some shit that I found that proves that my, stance or inaction is the proper action. And doesn't matter how much you show them
See,
otherwise, it was just enough to put
I'm
just enough of that wedge in.
I misunderstood too. There in 2016, Wakefield directed the anti-vaccination propaganda film Vaxxed
Yeah.
from
Oh, you
cover
don't
up to
remember Vaxxed?
no, I didn't know he was the one that directed it. I thought it was just a following off of his shit that he had done before.
No, he kept trying to triple, quadruple down, man.
The film was oh my god, it got put up for some film festival thing.
Oh,
The
good.
film the film was withdrawn though because of the founder, Robert De Niro. The Tribeca Film Festival.
Ah,
The film
okay.
was withdrawn from New York's 2016 Tribeca Film Festival after the
I
festival's
think I
founder,
remember hearing
Robert
about
De
this.
Niro,
I think I remember hearing
reversed
about
his
this.
decision to include it, and it's because his kid has autism.
Yeah, and he's like, he did not get this because
Yeah.
I got him vaccinated for fucking polio and MMR and all the other,
And that is good that at
deadly
least
ass things.
I think that celebrities should be making some sort of like group of their own to like anti-goop to fucking or whatever, anti-goop or whatever it is.
I mean, yeah, you want as many, popular in the people's eye type people making groups that are, push against conspiratorial bullshit. But here's the thing: be careful what you ask for, because there's also going to be celebrities such as like Kanye West doing the same thing and grouping up and pushing for, let's say, less scrupulous ideologies. Do you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, I would much rather.
Yeah, but the thing
People
is
group
like
up and try to tell you, hey, listen to the experts on the topic. And when I say experts, I don't mean elitists or, Bill Gates. Bill Gates is not a vaccine expert one way or the other. And I remember somebody came up to me and was like, I'm not going to listen to Bill Gates about what the fuck he wants me to do. He's a nerd that he's part of the Illuminati, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, here's the thing. You're right. Why would you listen to him one way or the other
right.
on vaccination or a medical topic? I was
But
like, I don't give a shit.
that's
If he told me
exactly
not to, I wouldn't
but
listen to him.
see, this is the thing though. That's the opposing view on these things is that exact viewpoint. Like I'm talking about celebrities willing to say no, this is bullshit, that there's plenty of
Yeah.
research saying that this is not the case. There's like they should have a group of fucking like they should all just join together and be about doing that and pushing back on these assholes because the more that it's allowed to happen that they just go along and spread bullshit. I don't know. And
Yeah,
yeah,
no, of
people are
course you
going to
want
connect.
pushback from the people with as many
Yeah.
followers or as many eyes on them. But again, like I said, I don't like to put much stock in um if I don't care that you can pretend to be you're able to be an amazing, portrayal of an 1850s whatever the
Right.
shit
It
in
has
some
nothing to do with the
dramatic
right.
recreation of a book. It has nothing to do with your knowledge on like very
Yeah.
complex medical stuff. So I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, I don't like to I don't want to like think that that's like the last line of defense, or like
Well, I mean,
even
this
the
is where
tip
we're
of the
at, though.
spear.
This is where we're at, though, Mitch. I mean, I mean, we've got people that are knowledgeable about those complex things trying to speak about other things and using their weight that way. Um, I mean, Dawkins and
Most scientists are scientists because they
Deborah
weren't
So.
good at, they're not orators. That was one of the
Yeah.
problems that like Fauci ran into, right? He went up there, he's like, fucking
Oh, I'm not gonna allow Dawkins to like get away with it's the way he was talking, and he just didn't under. No, he's been saying shit for quite a while and been on board with the Deborah Sows and promoting them with the anti-trans agendas and shit. But uh,
well, no, I
you know what?
wasn't. I mean,
No, I
that's a
wasn't.
different
I'm not
topic.
insinuating that that's what you're saying, but that like
Yeah, I was
after
like,
mentioning Dawkins, and I wanted
no,
to
I said
clarify on that.
Fauci.
But yeah,
Sorry, I said Like these,
Fauci.
like, well,
Yeah,
no, Dawkins was an amazing speaker.
right.
He was good at being concise and clear and calm. Not so much anymore.
Almost wonder if
Uh,
that's what he like. I don't know. I mean, is that the only reason people were listening to him to begin with? Then that's almost
Probably
what it gets to be like, where
celebrity.
people
Yeah,
like when it because
I mean
oh
that's why we vote for politicians. Who's the
yeah
most popular? Who's the one that rubs us the right way? Who's the one that has the most charisma? The one that looks like what we perceive in our head as like a philosopher or a this or a whatever.
right
You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, look at it's not universal, but like look at anybody that kind of bubbles to the top as like the person you look at and see as like the epitome of that thing. It's like, well, they're not even that good at this stuff. Like Bill Nye the Science Guy himself is an engineer. So a lot of the stuff he talks about, even though he's an amazing science communicator, no one can ever take that away from him. I love Bill Nye the Science Guy to death, of course. But
mhm,
like a lot of times when I'm in arguments with people that are, creationists or people that are they just trust most of the mainstream science, which is a really weird. But anyways, what I'm saying, when I would get in
yeah
arguments with them, they're like, "Well, you say you trust experts. Why do you bring up things like Bill Nye? He's not technically an expert in things like climate change or an expert
no, but
in evolution." I'm like, "Yeah, but what he's doing is he's iterating what the ones that can't speak for themselves are saying, the consensus of the scientists that know
well
what they're saying. He's
yeah
encapsulating it and communicating it to you." I was like, the difference between this isn't an appeal to authority because he's not the one saying the things.
right
He's telling you what the consensus of the thing is, what the studies say, what the data says, what the
right.
statistics say. But that's the argument I always get into, and that's why I like to kind of make sure that I separate like celebrity from the uh like
He
the
he's
topics,
he's merely
ideologies.
he's able to he understands the scientific process well. He understands how to go through studies and simplify those things for people that might not
Yeah,
understand those things as
yeah,
well.
yeah, and it's
So,
amazing.
like,
He does it very well.
yeah, he does a great job of that, and like, it
My
doesn't
man Neil
take
deGrasse
a.
Tyson does that shit.
I don't even think he's a like. He don't have. I don't know that he has a doctorate, or maybe I
I
don't
think
even think
it's
he's.
something in engineering. I don't know if it
Yeah,
might be a master's, might not be. Yeah,
but
and he was also a
yeah,
kid show science guy,
yeah, it
so he was
doesn't take
technically kind of an actor too.
right. But I've always enjoyed him
Oh,
growing
for
up. He knew
sure.
how to connect with kids and everything too. He was always so good with that
He
type of
was the
thing.
Mister Rogers of science.
Yeah.
It still
So,
is. I don't know why I said was.
yeah.
My brain's already just defaulting to the shitty future where I have to look at the fucking get on Facebook one day and I'd see Bill Nye died and I'll be all
Yeah.
fucking sad for a month. And I'll have to see a bunch of shit stains jumping around like, yeah, good ding dong, the witch is dead, or where the hell.
You know, this is the thing that fucking kills me about Rogan too, is that he would have somebody like Bill Nye on, and he'd have Ken Ham on the next fucking day and be like, "Oh,
Fair and balanced.
yeah," acting
Fair and
like those are
balanced.
two just completely the same on the same spectrum of logic and reason and how things work around you.
One of the very bad downsides of the whole we must treat each side as equal on like, factuality. Is that a fucking word? The factual nature of what's being said. You
Yeah.
can't because it's not. But if you bring everyone, well, I want to make sure everyone has their chance to speak at the table, and you're like, because when you have people that are just watching to just be like, well, which side should I listen to? And it's like, well, this guy has like the entire scientific, community of the planet behind him, and this guy has a book and 12 crazy people, and they're like, well, let's have them debate it out. It's like, well, literally, it doesn't matter what one of them says.
I
But
mean,
the problem is, if you're good at debating, though,
can you imagine if
you'll
we
have it.
this is how fucked up and normalized this shit has become in this country? Because can you imagine this happening in like the 40s, like in Germany? Can you imagine them being like, okay, guys, let's sit the Nazis down and let's
Oh
sit the
God.
Jews down. Let's all talk together.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Do you
Let's
do
see
you
how.
what makes you think that you deserve to live?
What? Yeah. Why?
Hmm.
Why do you seem to?
Not want to like die off for the betterment of your country?
I mean, do you think the Nazis wouldn't be saying that they're being oppressed? That they were the ones being oppressed? Like, do you not think that was
Say,
part
well,
of their
just listen to us.
right? So, like,
Yeah,
why the fuck do you think that's not still happening today? Whenever we had that blows my mind how people can't think that deep into things at all.
Well, the problem is like they'll immediately just chalk it up to hyperbole. Poe's law, where it's like, oh, hey, look, everyone's already talking about Nazis. The second you want to discuss the conversation between like who's right or wrong,
but
on
it's
a
a relevant
topic.
But it's a relevant thing. What about? I mean, the same people that think that don't understand that Project Paperclip was a fucking thing here.
That's really fun, dude. I get so much shit when I talk about Project Paperclip because they're like, "You're such an anti-conspiracy guy. You believe in that one? Oh, you like to pick and choose." I'm like, "Well, that one has
there's
proof of it.
evidence of it.
Yeah, there's full evidence, and everything makes sense. It's a paper trail,
and it
like MK Ultra is not even really a conspiracy theory. It's mostly just like they gave a fuck ton of money to a crazy guy that liked acid way too much, gave him no oversight, and had no ethics board, and he's just dosing motherfuckers, having them on acid for fucking. I listened to a podcast. I read a book on it.
Tortured people. And shit, and it was over gender stuff too, and like
it was all jacked up. But yeah,
sexuality and things.
That one, MK Ultra is just insane. That one's just insane. They were like drugging each other at work. Could you imagine like being at work and like you can't drink the water you're about to like sip from because you're like, oh fuck, the Dr. So and so put some fucking acid in here.
I mean, I kind of can, but only I can because I'm from Ohio, but it's only because of the corporations, not a doctor. So it's okay.
Fair. You might trip balls for another reason in Ohio.
Might glow a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah, just a little glow. It's fine. We had to burn it to get rid of it.
Yeah.
You had to burn it, Slew. What was the other one? But yeah, Paperclip but that one makes all the sense in the world because of course we're gonna overlook their Nazi ties because they have very good. Wait, I don't even know what voice I was about to do.
But it's
remakes
also
the rockets, very good.
It would also not.
They're like cool.
Well, it would also not work well for like corporations to have anti-fascist propaganda being put around here because they don't. That it kind of goes against them at a certain point because they're the ones with the thumb on people's. So like their propaganda is so similar to the same shit. They work off of the same hierarchy system and everything at a certain point. I'm not saying that corporations are Nazis, but
yeah, I was about to say not all of them. Maybe Nestle. No. Nestle's probably they literally their owner. The CEO was like, saying their water should be privatized.
I'm saying they're just as bad as Nazis. That's where I want to
There you go. Yeah, you're not actually Nazis. Like those people aren't there anymore. I mean, there's
but it's the next. It's kind of like
Nazi 2.0. We don't want you to have water. We don't care what your religion is or your background or your race. We just want you to have to pay for water.
Well, here's the thing too: is that
there's
a reason why these things connect to the U.S. as much as they do, and that's because Hitler did base his structure of the Nazis and of all of this off of.
He was a fan of
America.
Ford. He had a fucking picture of Ford in one of his goddamn bunkers or whatever.
He was a fan of U.S.'s slavery as well. He was basing it off of the slavery system here.
I did like how you set that up.
So if you think that the fascist dictator that was basing his shit off of that, like, you know what I mean? it's not as separate of a thing as what people think it is. Like, they aren't seeing how close it's been tied for fucking ever. It's the same thing that keeps happening again and again and again.
The disconnect comes from like one we bring up as like, you know, greed and money, and it seems far enough away from like literally sticking people in ovens and having them unalived. There's a disconnect there, and that's understandable, and I see it too. I often try to back away from like always bringing up Hitler and every fucking thing, but you are right in the fact that the ideological structure, the skeleton that it like builds up to one of those things,
and it promotes
is the same.
It's promoting bigotry along the way too. Like, it's always defending bigotry all the way along the way, and it's using freedoms and things to do it at the same time. So they'll fearmonger over your freedoms being taken away, and they'll say, "Look, they're trying to shut me up because," and they'll leave out the "because I'm trying to oppress people and, you know, say all this shit to make you think that these people are awful and that they're doing all the
the tolerance of intolerance is intolerable, right? Like that whole paradox." Because you want to be tolerant, and you're like, well, everyone needs to bring their ideas to the table, and like someone brings their idea to the table, and the idea is like, these people are pieces of shit and shouldn't exist. You're like, you can't. That doesn't work. Shit. So, yeah, that does bring problems into it when like.
If you're wanting, and this is the thing that doesn't make sense too, that whenever I really started thinking about this ideology and everything, because I've heard this in several different ways. Like, I heard somebody trying to, I won't get into that, but the thing of having somebody wanting to get along with everybody for the greater good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which in theory sounds great.
What's the greater good though? What's the greater goal? What are you looking to do? Because I can't think of a single fucking goal, a single thing that I would want to do with somebody else to come to, you know, that would rely on, those things rely on diversity, right? Those things rely on bringing people together. But if you're bringing people together that are excluding people out, how is that helpful? Because now and then when you defend that person that's excluding people out, then you're excluding people by proxy.
Yes, because you think that that's right.
How
you're
is
like,
that
yeah, no, absolutely.
together?
Those people fuck us all up.
So you
better if that doesn't work.
Yeah, you aren't working together on a common goal at that point. So it's like it's this.
We want to make the world better for everybody. That's what we need to come together on. It's like, well, these people don't want the world to be better for anyone but a specific few groups.
Yeah. So that's where it gets really messed up, that you'll and people don't ever think this far into it, and you'll hear things about woke, or you'll hear people bringing up that
it always sounds hyperbolic,
or the way that the trying to, with freedom of speech, with the thing of cancel culture and shit, and it's always a shitbag at the end of the day.
Culture.
That's saying shitty things, and people are just saying we don't want any of that.
I think
but they have a big platform, and then they use their big platform and their wealth and everything to promote themselves in this country where if you have wealth and you can promote yourself.
Yeah.
And then they say that they're the ones that are victims and that they're being canceled.
Yeah, everyone's being mean to me. Yeah, being canceled is people being mean to you because you said stuff that pissed a whole bunch of people off. I think what happens is there's a scaling problem with people that like feel like they've been canceled. And I'm not even talking about like major celebrities and stuff where like, you know, they you don't hear about them at all anymore, or when you do hear about them, they're, you know, making terrible Christian movies.
I mean, there are some legit ones that have like they've been out of the scenes because the opposite, like they were sexually abused or whatever, and they got blackballed that way, and it got covered up.
They're like, well, you're problematic. You didn't just keep your mouth shut. Now there's always an issue with you. Like, I
can't think of specific ones, but I know that there was a couple that.
The thing is, even if you could, you probably wouldn't want to mention it.
Yeah.
Probably be nicer not to mention it.
Yeah.
again, like I said, the to go to like the cancel culture, I think you see people like Louis C.K. I think that's probably the most clear cut, obvious one because there's controversy about why what the accusation really was, what actually happened. I don't want to get into exactly what that was or wasn't. It seemed credible enough. Like he's whipping his dick out in front of people. Don't do that. Like that's
Yeah.
not cool. But what I'm saying is like, so that's clear cut one. Did something really weird. It's controversial on to certain groups about why he did or didn't. So he, kind of just goes away because he's blackballed. No one wants to have the dick wrangler, whatever the shit, running around on their sets one way or the other. So people will watch that happen, and they'll have like this connection in their head to a time that they had an opinion that was vehemently corrected by like group of friends they were with, or like a group of like a community they were in, and
Yeah.
they'll make this connection and be like, "Oh, it's a cancel culture." So as soon as I have an idea that sucks, everyone's fucking mean to me. See, I'm just like Louis C.K. I'm a misunderstood
yeah.
genius or something. And like people misconstrue someone pointing out that you were fucking shitty about something that most people agree with is a shitty thing to do with everyone trying to like shut you down because like your idea was different. It's like we're not shut. No one's. I wouldn't want to go that far, but like it's most likely the case it wasn't because your ideas were different or like
Well, we hold these.
individual, it was bad and it did
We
something
try to
mean, and then
we
you
try
don't
to
want to backpedal.
well we try to say that we hold these things so dear, like these ideas of freedoms of things, freedom of speech and freedom of religion and freedom. We have like America's just such a fucking
Well, I can say something
that
controversial as hell right now, and the government can't arrest me for it.
right.
Now,
But
I can say something wild about, well, actually, I don't want to say it at all, but
but
we all know what you could say to get in
we
trouble with, like, the FBI.
we obsess over these freedoms so much that people think that these are things that like you that we can't take away, that we don't ever take these away from people, but we do. We've done it a lot throughout history, and the thing is rich people already are able to go around those things anyway. They can take
Yeah.
those things from you if they want.
Yes. Pretty easily. Especially
Non-disclosure
when they
agreements,
own
never
the
never
shit.
heard of
Yeah.
a non-disclosure agreement?
NDAs. Yeah. Sign this.
Like they will silence whoever they want to fucking
Yeah.
silence one way or
That's just the
another.
power. That's the power structure.
So it's weird to think that, if that's the case and that's the state of things that we're in right now, then why are you emphasizing so much over the freedom of speech? Like they can already do that. I mean, okay, is my freedom of speech being infringed upon because I'm not on every station right now
Yes.
broadcasting?
Yeah. You should do something
It
about
gets
that.
so fucking
Actually, the funny
ridiculous.
thing is, if you started yelling that that's what was happening, you'd probably get a whole bunch of attention.
Could I get that? I need to do that.
Yep,
That's the plan now.
that's the trick. It's a trick.
I'm renaming this now.
Life hack. Yeah, canceled. Been canceled. They're trying to silence my
Slu-
thoughts.
They canceled
They.
Slucifer. They've been canceled me.
Mhm.
Reach out to my Venmo now.
I don't want any money because they'll tell me to give them something like, "Oh, Mister Lefty, you want everyone to have your money? Fine, send me something." So I can't even breach that one. Yeah, man. Can we take a slight intermission? We are at an
Yeah.
hour. Where's the intermission button? Is there a thing in here?
I don't think we have an intermission.
I think I can hit stop cam, but then I don't know if that ends stream. Or does it? Oh, now you just can't see me. Aha!
I think we'll wrap things up right here though for this one. I'll start up another one in a minute. So, hail Satan and hail yourselves.